Dallas hosting a Thanksgiving game for the 52nd time. Let's go down to the field. Here's Tracy.
Well, thanks a lot, Jim. The last time Josh Allen was here in Dallas was the 2018 NFL Draft. He was selected 7th overall by the Buffalo Bills, and now here he is making his first start in his first Thanksgiving game, in his first nationally televised game. And what he told us yesterday was this has been on his bucket list for a long time, and to be out here is truly surreal. As for how he will handle the bright lights and the big stage and all the nerves, his head coach Sean McDermott told us he is so cool, he is so calm, he is going to be just fine. Jim?
He's going to have to wait a little bit, Tracy, because Buffalo defers here at the top. Tony, we got a Thanksgiving game with playoff implications on both sides.
It is, and this is a big one. Obviously a tough week here in Dallas, a lot going on. Buffalo's riding high, 8-3, a great season. Jason Garrett, it's a short week. When you lose in the NFL, you like the short week. You want to come right back and play on Thursday. They have an opportunity today. One game lead over the Eagles, but they're going to have to play against a pretty good opponent today.
When we talked to Jason, as you see Sean McDermott, Garrett said they got off the plane Sunday night after the loss in that monsoon up at New England. It was a mad dash from that point on. It's a fun week, and they're ready to go, leading their division by a game over Philadelphia. Meanwhile, the Bills at 8-3 have a 2-game lead for the first wild card position on the AFC side. And Hauschka delivers the touchback and will bring out Dak and the Dallas offense. There you see most in the league, over 3,400 yards, passing yards. He's got 3 400-yard performances. They were kept out of the end zone again in horrific weather conditions on Sunday in New England. And let's see what the Cowboys can do 4 days later. Olawale is in the game, the fullback. And of course, Zeke Elliott lined up behind Prescott. Will move Olawale wide to the right. Prescott's going to fire it and hit it. There's Cooper. And Tony, you said they got to get Cooper involved in this game after no catches last Sunday. It took 10 seconds to get him a catch for 16.
Well, it's a staple play. Probably the #1 play they want to go to in key situations. Ran this play for years. Back Troy Aikman used to throw this to Novacek. And Cooper needs to be the focal point. It's easier to give him the ball on first down than it is on third when you have a plan for him.
3 wides in the game, including Randall Cobb. Handoff to Elliott for 3. Again, the Cowboy offense is #1 in total offense. That's a yardage-based statistic, and that's a strong offensive line.
Yeah, that it is. There's really no weak spot. When you look and you're a defensive coordinator, you're like, how are we going to attack this offensive line? Right now, there's not a whole lot of stuff you can do. You're going to need to see movement. Buffalo's going to have to trade positions. Defensive end, you go inside, tackle, come around me. You can't go head-to-head against them.
2nd and 7. They fake the handoff to Zeke this time, and Prescott fires it long, and the ball was caught by a defender, but he was out of bounds, and a flag is thrown at the 30-yard line. Hyde did not make the pick inbounds, but it looks like it could be a flag on Buffalo anyway.
Well, you can tell there's a concerted effort for Dallas to get the ball to Cooper. 2 straight throws to him when the run in between, but a little bit of a double team. This is going to be a great matchup today.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact. Defense number 27. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Bill Vinovich and his crew, one of the best in the business. They have the flag here against Buffalo.
Well, and you see the double move. It's like a hitch and go. White gets his hands on him. Too much pushing down the field. It's a correct call. But White is having an outstanding season. Quarterbacks are throwing no touchdowns, 4 interceptions at him this year. And they like this matchup. But I can tell you, Cooper, he's going to be very difficult to guard one-on-one. If you have a guy who can, it gives you an opportunity to slow the run game. If you don't, you've got to put 2 guys on Cooper and disrupt the big play.
Cooper sits out this snap. That's talk about not giving up touchdown passes. Only Baker Mayfield has thrown multiple touchdown passes in a game against the Bills this year, as Elliott is ridden down after a gain of 3. This defense, it is something else. Ed Oliver, first-round pick out of Houston, making that tackle. Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator, and they're coming off a game against Denver, a win against the Broncos on Sunday when they allowed only 134 yards by Denver.
well, this is really Sean McDermott special. He's a fantastic football coach. Leslie Frazier, defensive coordinator. There, they get together and they come up with great plans each week, and they disguise coverages as well as any team in the league.
Cooper back on the field for 2nd and 8. And screen pass. There goes Elliott with Frederick out in front. And Hyde brings him down. Gain of 15.
Watch the fake jet sweep and then come back out to a screen. They love screens that have you look like I'm giving the ball somewhere and then it comes back across the other side. They've been doing it for a while. Tough to prepare for because there's so much movement. And Zeke, I know there's a lot of talk about him this year, but I'm telling you, he's going to be just fine. As this season gets closer to the end, you're going to see a lot more of him.
You see 5 games with 100. 3 straight, though, without the century mark. And he gets the handle for about 5. Running behind Connor Williams. So the Cowboys driving here to open the game. They've already traveled 51 yards in 5 plays. Pollard comes into the game now, the rookie running back out of Memphis, as Josh Allen waits his turn. And again, it's Elliott for about 2. 3rd and short coming up. Shaq Lawson on the tackle. And that yardage against Denver, the 134 yards, fewest by the Bills allowed in 6 years, and the lowest total put up by Denver since 1992 in a game. But right now it's being challenged. Let's see if this defense can respond. It's 3rd and 3 for the Cowboys.
Well, and Dak's going to look at the coverage, try to get to the plate. 2 very good teams on 3rd down.
Pass complete for the first. At the 15, they try to strip it out of the hands of Cooper, and maybe a little over-aggressive as the marker comes in.
Well, yeah, Jordan Phillips comes in late and delivers a blow that you cannot do. This is probably going to be a penalty on him.
After the play, personal foul. Defense number 97. After this is the goal, automatic 1st down.
And you'll see Phillips right there, Jim, come flying in and try and take a shot. That's going to be called every time.
Now you see the Bills 2 games behind New England in the AFC East. They'll have their 2nd game against the Patriots at Gillette on December 21st. Cowboys 1-game lead over Philadelphia, and they'll be playing the Eagles on that same weekend. 1st and goal, just outside the 7. Nice piece of tackling by Lawson, driving back Elliott for no gain.
You know, in this defensive line, I mean, really the back end, the linebackers, there's no spot that you're like, boy, the Bills really got to get better here on defense. They've invested a lot of picks, especially in their front 7 here over the last 3-4 years, and what an outstanding job McDermott has done to get, you know, players this offseason on offense and defense and build the team.
2nd and goal. Play action. Prescott finds the target. It's Witten for the touchdown. Jason Witten has another Thanksgiving Day touchdown.
Jason Witten, he's played a few Thanksgiving games. Watch him, he's right here. This is sneaky how good this is. He's gonna block, but watch him wait until everyone leaves that area. Wait, and then fall right behind everybody. The Bills had 3 guys there for the back and the quarterback. If Witten goes a little early, he's not gonna be open. It's a really spot you gotta find soft in that defense, and he does that as well as anybody.
Maher's extra point is good, and the Cowboys touchdown catch number 71. Tying now Bob Hayes, who went into the Hall of Fame in 2009, was 71, 2 behind Dez. Cowboy team record of 73. As the kick will be run back by Roberts. Buffalo leads the league in kickoff return average, and Roberts to the 19. By the way, this Cowboy Stadium opened The same year that Hayes went into the Hall of Fame, 09, and the first touchdown pass in this new stadium in the regular season, Romo to Witten. Here's Josh Allen. First 5 games, 5 touchdown tosses, 7 picks. Look what he's done of late, Tony, 10-1.
It's that kind of second-year leap you hope to see, where the light bulb goes on. You start to see coverages better. You get through progressions faster. And he's really started to come on. He's got a cannon for you people at home who haven't seen him. He can throw the football about 100 yards.
Roberts run back only to the 19, sets him up from there, and Singletary, rookie running back from Florida Atlantic, with a nice first carry coming off his first 100-yard performance. Rushing wise, here is this Buffalo offensive line. It's a young bunch. Now they brought Mitch Morse over, veteran presence at center. Cole Beasley, your old teammate, slot receiver here, and been very effective in his first year for Buffalo. We'll call it 2nd and 2. Run it up the middle, and falling for the first at the 30 is Singletary. Cowboy defense, Rod Marinelli, Chris Richard, those two kind of put it together. There's Sean Lee, Jalen Smith, Joe Thomas. They're without Leighton Vander Esch with that stinger, that neck injury. He's inactive. We talked to Garrett Jason about it. He's optimistic he's coming back soon.
That'll be interesting to watch today. I can tell you right now that the Cowboys are similar. A lot of movement, a lot of hustle. They're going to send 5 guys a lot today.
Allen is sacked back at the 20. Almost twisted his way out of it, but Thompson got to him. Darian Thompson takes him down for a loss of 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, and now watch. The Cowboys want to keep Allen in the pocket. You're going to see them send 5 guys a lot. There's not a lot of holes to run when you rush 5 guys. Allen's going to have to get the ball out of his hand and trust his arm for them to move the ball today.
Thompson getting more time, we expect today, because Heath is out with a shoulder injury, inactive, trying to get some of it back. Allen completes the pass underneath to John Brown, who's another big offseason acquisition for the Bills. Now I got 3rd and long. Walk right into this stadium to play for the first time. If you're Josh Allen, you got 3rd and 13. Crowd is worked up after an opening drive touchdown by the Cowboys.
Cowboys are great in these situations. They get a lot of pressure. If you can have time, though, you get people open.
Stepping up and running. Allen going to slide about 3 yards short of the first. He was looking around, thought maybe there would be a flag here.
Yeah,
thrown on Woods.
It was close at the end. There might have been Jalen Smith too as well, getting his hand, and couldn't see from that angle perfectly, but you saw just a 4-man rush and how quickly they get pressure. Incredible job by Rod Marinelli creating these stunts up front, we call them, where there's movement on the D line. 2 guys go right and the guy way outside the defensive end comes flying in the middle.
Bojorquez in the punt. That drive ending quickly thanks to the sack. That punt bounces at the 7 and goes sideways out at the 5. So beautifully done by the 2nd-year punter out of New Mexico, who is fired up about what he just did, pinning Dak and the Cowboys back at the 5. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Ice Cold Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. Target, we're thinking of you. Target. And by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Now the Cowboys had not scored a first-quarter touchdown offensively in their last 4 games, but certainly put it into that streak right at the top of this game. Now their 2nd series after the 58-yard punt has them backed up 95 yards away. Elliott slips through a tackle. He's got a first down. Out to 17. A lot of noise, Tony, immediately after the game at New England. Jerry Jones never afraid to voice his opinion. Here's some of the things he said as the week went on. When you're general manager, which I am, those coaches that are out there Those players are out there. When they don't have a good day, I don't have a good day. But he voiced his frustration. He said being reminded of the fundamentals of football in the New England game and the coaching that beat us out there, particularly harsh about the special teams coaching. They had a punt block and got behind 10-0 early in that game. Here's a 1st and 10 throw. Prescott, it's incomplete. So, listen, it's not the first time that Jerry's voiced his opinion and his frustration. What does all this mean?
Well, I think the first thing is that you just said it. He was frustrated after the game. And we have a penalty.
Illegal contact. Defense number 27. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And so that right after a game, there's a level of frustration that happens for everyone on a football team who loses. For the owner, just the same as a player, as the head coach. The difference, though, is Jerry is he's a competitive person, and he always does want to win. You know, a couple days later, usually it just gets a little bit less. This is a Thursday game, so it's very soon right after still.
And off, Elliott again, breaking tackles and taking it all the way to the Buffalo 45. This is going to be his longest run in weeks. He had 180 some odd runs without a 20-yard rush. And now he peels off a 30-yard carry.
Well, this is going to be how they're going to, the DNA of this team to dominate opponents is to keep the other team from really getting enough possessions, and you can control it. That's how you can beat the best teams at their best. I still believe they need to go through Elliott, and you're going to see that as this season plays out.
Ball deflected by Milano. And just getting back to the Jerry comments, what does this mean for Jason Garrett, your former coach? You know, he added some comments this week, Jerry, saying no one in this country has earned the right to say I am a Jason Garrett fan more than me, and we want the very same thing for our players to play at their very best. We want his staff to coach their very best, and you got to come in first. I want Jason to get it done.
Well, he does. He 100% wants Jason to get done, and he knows they have a very good football team. It's just when you lose, there's a lot of frustration, and Jerry, he's earned the right to just say how he feels after the game. But Jason Garrett has handled him for a long time. When I say that in a good way, where Jason accepts responsibility. He takes it, says, I got to do better. Our team has to do better. And then he does, not everyone sees it, but he does hold these guys accountable behind the scenes. He just doesn't do it publicly very often. And I'm convinced that Jerry sees that, and that's why he does want Jason to do that. Now, winning and losing is all that matters. When it comes down to it, you're either going to win and you're going to produce or you're not. That's what it's going to come down to as this season plays out.
After a 5-yard run by Pollard, it's 3rd and 5. Buying time. And knocked down. It was beautifully played defensively by White, denying Cooper the reception. What would have been a first down.
Watch Jason Witten. He's going to come and get open across the field. Dak just gets off him a little early. And as he does, he scrambles out. And the ball's on the sideline. And it's really a pretty good throw right on the side as he gets a little bit of a hit from Phillips, who's actually had a very good season. He's already got 7 sacks this year.
So good play by White, who's already had a couple of hands to the face calls against him in this first quarter, but ends the Dallas drive that got him from the 5 into Buffalo territory, moving at 52 yards. Chris Jones punt. Bounces at the 5. Beautifully covered up by the Cowboys. Chris Jones getting it done. 41 yards. Bills will start at the 3 when we come back. Today kicks off the 129th year of the Red Cattle Campaign. And now the Bills have it for the second time with the 3rd all-time rusher in history of the league, Frank Gore. In the backfield, he just moved into 3rd position on Sunday. And he dives ahead to about the 5.
That's incredible.
He moved past Barry Sanders, who I saw up in the booth in the early game. We're going to have Emmitt Smith up here a little bit later on. But 3rd all time, he's 1,500 yards behind Walter Payton for 2nd, and about 3,000 yards behind Emmitt. for first all time. And it's just, you don't see 15-year running backs in the league.
You don't get in that company. Let's say that too. I mean, he just passed who?
Yeah, a guy named Barry Sanders.
Yeah, okay. Now he's with Walter Payton and Emmitt Smith. I mean, this guy, they love him. Anybody who's ever been around thinks he's as professional a football player as you can have in your building. Ever have it.
Second and 7. He's going to get back some yardage. What a play by Covington in the backfield. Knocks him down for a 3-yard loss.
Well, Covington, you see how the movement, instead of going straight forward, he goes around to the other gap. Ton of movement on these two football teams. Part of the reason why their defensive line can be disruptive is their ability just to say, you line up here, but you're going to go way over there. That's where we're telling you to go. And so the offensive linemen get confused sometimes.
Third and 10. Allen, what a pass on the run. Out to the 30-yard line. Cole Beasley, as Allen fires a rocket missile in there.
Well, this is the guy you got to cover. Watch Josh Allen. He steps up, Lawrence with the pressure, and Cole Beasley one-on-one is going to have a field day against really anybody. Jordan Lewis is in for a tough matchup today. Beasley in the slot, you're going to see him over and over again. If he's one-on-one, he's going to get the ball.
Singletary in at running back. 29-yard play to Beasley, who spent his first 7 years with the Cowboys. Cowboys on Singletary in a hurry. Allen throws a block. And look at Singletary fight to the very end to pick up 2 yards. Sean Lee had him for like a 6-yard loss. And then Josh Allen came over and helped get him free a little bit.
Well, Sean Lee knows football, and you could tell he times it perfectly. And there's not enough communication out of Buffalo to block the right guy in Singletary, who's playing really well. Ooh, I like this kid. Give Brandon Beane credit for building this offense, him and McDermott.
2nd and 8, down the sideline and long. Intended for John Brown.
Well, you see, Josh Allen has to take a little off there. Jim, when you put the tape on, you watch him. That's not really that open here. Those two guys are close to him, but he's got a cannon, and he fires it into a small spot. He makes some throws you don't see on tape. Body weight, he's not moving forward. He's just going to fire it in between. And a little turkey there. You see that? We did for Thanksgiving. All that fun stuff. But he's got to just find the right guy and get it out of his hands.
Need to get to the 41 for first. Steps up, launches, and a flag's going to be thrown. Byron Jones was the Cowboy defender on Robert Foster.
Well, and they're going to get Byron Jones, obviously, for a pass interference here. And Foster doesn't have a ton of catches this year.
Missed a bunch of games. He did come back last week, Foster.
Pass interference. Defense number 31. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
So last week I saw him. He's actually involved in a lot of stuff. They jet sweep him and everything, but you see at the top of the screen, he's right here. And the key is the good job by the O-line to give Allen enough time to step up. And this is how you have to attack Dallas. They want to get one safety down all the time. You look back, you see one safety in the middle of the field at the top. The other one's down by the line of scrimmage. Well, that means you can throw it outside over and over again. Josh has to do that.
Tries to go across the middle to Beasley. And Lewis could have made a play on that ball. So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the Cowboy 44.
Well, and really, that was a good job by Lewis, almost out-muscling Beasley, not letting him get inside.
A 23-yard penalty on the Cowboys, getting Buffalo into Cowboy territory for the first time. Setting up a screen. Singletary surrounded. Look at all those Cowboy uniforms around him, including Tristan Hill, loss of 4.
Yeah, and the key play was Sean Lee, the ability to sniff this out. 50 right there. He's going to make it, turn it back in so that the screen can't go outside, and it allows the defensive lineman to come over and make the play. As smart a player as I've ever been around right there, Sean Lee.
And there's Van Der Esch, who again is out with that neck stinger for the second consecutive game. They hope to have him back soon. 3rd and 14. Time in the pocket. And just able to dump it off for a short gain to Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox with the catch for 3. That's it.
Well, and that was a big drive. They didn't get points, but Dallas, you know, they were very aggressive coming out. If you had to punt and you get a 3 and out, you're getting the ball back at the 50 or even the 40, most likely, when you're punting out of your own end zone from there. So good job by Buffalo to change field position. Dallas with another opportunity to take this to a 2-score game on this drive.
Bojorquez first punt, 58 yards. Cobb is the returner, chasing it out of bounds. Let's see where they say it flew out. Another good punt here at the 10. Elliott coming back out. He's already got 7 handles for 54 yards on the ground. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Macy's. The holidays are here. And by Verizon, the network more people rely on. Jim Nance, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson, Gene Steratore out of the studio and on the road with us. We love it. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're having a great holiday. Thanks for spending part of it with us. Here's Prescott. Got hit when he threw it, and it's knocked down. Is it going to Gallup? Johnson able to defend it.
You see Johnson, just a go route. Does a good job of trying to time it. Gallup has great speed. And Dallas has been so aggressive this year with a lot of their calls, taking shots downfield. I love it. It allows you to open up a lot of other stuff. You see the development in Dak and how he's taken off. I think, you know, their ability to throw the ball early this year was huge to this offense really taking off. And now it's about that time of year you got to start running the ball a little bit.
Well, here you go on that note. Hand off to Elliott for about 2. Just want to wish you, Gene, happy Thanksgiving. It's great to have you out on the road with us, as you will be come playoff time. You having a good? It's been a busy year for you back at the studio. It feels like about 5 times a game. Well, Gene, what do you think?
It's been a busy year, but it is great to be back in the stadiums again. There's just that feel when you're at, at the games, Jim. And it's great to see everybody here.
I wish I was in the hole back with you on Sundays. It's way better than the stadium thing. It's terrible out here now. It's great to have you around.
Great to have you, Gene.
It's great to be
We'll
here.
see if we can keep you busy today. I don't know. Are you feeling it or not?
You know what? I think they're doing a great job early.
Yeah.
We've had a couple plays that are close, but they feel like they're letting them play, and I think that's a great thing. And it's also, listen, we're in that last 25% of the season. Intensity picks up now, and you want to make the fouls big now,
Micah Hyde was shaken up on that last play. That carry by Elliott for a couple. So the Cowboys will face 3rd and 8 here in the final minute of the first quarter.
Well, once again, just like we talked about with Buffalo on the other end, this is a key, really, field position play. If you have to punt from here, you're given the ability for Buffalo to get points with really just 1 first down.
You saw the veteran Kurt Coleman has come in for Hyde. Pressure. Oh, he reaches out. Where was the knee? We might be bringing Gene in really quickly here. His time is running down on the first quarter. They're going to mark him. It looks like just shy of it. Despite a tremendous effort by Prescott to try to put that ball across the 20.
Incredible effort. I mean, just short, but outstanding by Dak to give his team a chance, but just short.
End of 1. Happy Thanksgiving from CBS. We start the second. What is going on here? 4th and a foot. Cowboys at their own 19. Offense on the field.
You want to feel a pressure moment? Can we see Jason Garrett? Anybody? For him to make this decision, stoic, but he's feeling it right there. This is unbelievable.
Wow.
Inside your own 20. I know you want to be aggressive.
Prescott, with the force of the line behind him, picks up the first, and take that, he says.
Great job up front.
How about that decision?
Well, you're playing to win, and I like that. Ooh, didn't look quite as
Ran into Lau
obvious.
Collins.
Did he get down before? If his knee was there, that would have been a lot closer. But give him credit. You get a first down back there. You don't see it inside your own 20 very often.
No. Not in the, the first play of the second quarter.
When you're up 7-0.
You want him to be bold? That's bold.
That's bold.
New set of downs. Dump off pass to Zeke. He's got 3. Well, there's much more to the puzzle on the critically acclaimed new series, Evil. That's tonight at 10/9 Central on CBS. Happy Thanksgiving and enjoy a little Evil tonight.
I'm officially scared on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
That'll warm you up.
Yep.
Here's a 2nd and 7. And a completion for the first. Gain of 17 for Cooper.
Well, this is why Cooper is just a matchup nightmare. He's going to push it forward and then come straight downhill. Most people take that way too high and the throw gets tougher. See how flat he comes down the line? Guys that size, that big, don't have the ability to move that way and really just flatten routes quickly. It's like he's a little guy in a big guy's body. It's really impressive.
Coop with 3 catches for 40 yards. And Elliott slipped a bit when he was trying to put on the brakes, and Lawson in on another tackle along with Ed Oliver. Let's go down to Tracy.
Jim, Sean McDermott, defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier up and down the sideline before this drive, talking to their team about fundamentals, the 3 early penalties and the lack of tackling. 2 things they want to see cleaned up early, Jim.
That's great, Trace. And I tell you right now, this is why I think they're really playing well on defense this year. They get a negative play a lot on early downs, so now they feel like they know you're in a screen position or a passing position.
Ball tipped at the line of scrimmage on 2nd and 14. He was throwing it over in the direction of Austin, so now you got him backed up. You got a 3rd and 14 coming up.
Well, this is where sometimes the Cowboys, there's 2 ways, right? You throw a screen, handoff thing, but they get aggressive. They like to run double moves. They're going to say, hey, let's block it up. Let's run an out and up, in cut and out, and in cut, and then go to the deep part of the field. But you'll see Witten usually blocks, chips on his way out, Zeke chips, and then they take a deep shot.
You saw Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator in his first year. What does he send in? Over Witten. Bills are not going to allow him to get near the marker. Johnson on the tackle. Pickup of 8.
And an outstanding job, Buffalo, getting depth, staying deep on top of him. And Dak does the right thing and checks it down in front. And really, it's well played on both ends, both teams right now. You got to say are actually being efficient. Just that minus play hurt that drive for Dallas. That's what Buffalo does to you. They're aggressive on early downs, pressure, some stuff like that, and they get softer.
3 punts today. All of them have been down inside the 10. The 10 or inside of it. Jones. This one travels to the 15. Fair caught at that point. Roberts with the fair catch. 45-yard punt. Back come the Cowboys. Or the Bills. Josh Allen and the Bills with the football for the 3rd time. You mentioned earlier he's got a ton of family here. His grandparents, his parents, sisters, some 30 friends from back home in Fireball, California, in the Central Valley. Here to support their guy, and here he is flinging it for a first down out to the 29 to John Brown. Pick up a 14.
Outside the numbers, the way to attack Dallas, and really both these teams, the way they play defense, throw the ball outside the numbers, deep curl route. You'll see that one of the safeties is coming down for Dallas at the top of your screen. The 2 guys, most likely he comes, one stays back, one-on-one outside.
Singletary taken off. Collides with his own teammate and a Cowboy defender, and he, as we've seen a couple times, refuses to go down. That's a rush of 26.
Well, this is an outstanding job. The left tackle, Dawkins, and Morse, the center, with great kick-out blocks, and Singletary does the rest. 9 new starters from last year to this year on this team. The offensive line, the only returner, left tackle, Dawkins, and then Josh Allen. Everybody else is new. And he's just learning about him.
His longest rush of his rookie campaign, he went for 26. That one for no gain into the arms of Smith. Well, Josh Allen, again, they're 8-3, their best start since '96, and you look since 2000, most wins in a season by the quarterbacks. Bledsoe in '04 had 9.
Yeah, Bledsoe obviously is a great player in the league for a long time, and you can see all of his family members. Josh right there, and I can tell you he loves football. He's fun to talk to, and he's passionate, and his teammates love him.
2nd and 10. Gets it to his tight end, who hops ahead near the first. He's a yard short. Knox with a second catch. Tracy mentioned he's been in this building talking about Josh Allen once before, and that was for the draft last year. As you see the effort by Knox trying to get to that first down marker, a little bit short. Drafted 7th overall. Here he is on 3rd and 1. And it's going to be close. You remember going into that draft, there was all this speculation. Who would go first? Would it be Allen? Would it be Darnold? And then on the day of the draft, you know, the word finally got out just minutes before. Perhaps it's going to be Baker Mayfield, which it was. But there were teams that passed on him, including Denver, which he beat last week. And I know he enjoyed that victory last week against the Broncos. That was extra special.
Yes, I mean, when you're drafted, it's such a special day, especially as we watch him here.
On 1st and 10, avoiding the sack and picking up good yardage. Chased down by Woods.
And before we get back to the draft, this is one of his rare abilities. He runs the football, you know, as well as, you know, obviously there's Jackson and a couple of guys, Russell Wilson, but this reminds me a little bit of Cam Newton, where he's got size, he's coming at you, he runs quarterback power. I mean, they have very unique runs, and not a lot of quarterbacks do that stuff, and it's a really strength of his game. And I think they're doing it really well, the way Brian Daboll's, you know, figuring out how to use and make this system cater to his quarterback.
Rushed for almost 400 yards on the season. He's got 2nd and 1. Going to go with Singletary, tripped up behind the line by DeMarcus Lawrence, but he may have been able to. Yep, looks like he's going to have another first down. Singletary. First down it is. Nice drive being put together by the Bills. They've traveled now 60 yards on this possession.
Well, and they're so efficient in the run game, they only need 1 or 2 passes, and then all of a sudden they get moving. And Dallas, the one area, a couple of their games, has just been a couple times allowing a runner to really take off, and it makes the game shorter for your offense.
On the run, fires it again. It's Beasley back to Dallas with a touchdown in his old building.
Boy, you know Cole Beasley wanted to come back, and you see Allen's family. There's only 6,000 of them here today.
Whole town.
I'm probably pretty close, but watch. Allen's going to slide in the pocket, but Beasley's going to come in your screen at the top, and it's a zone coverage. Allen slides up and then fires it, and Beasley does a great job of getting into that little window. There's really no way to stop it. If the quarterback has that kind of time, he's going to step up, and all of a sudden, Dallas was in control of this game, and now...
How about this? 3rd player all time, Tony, to score a touchdown for and against Dallas on Thanksgiving, joining Mike Renfro and Dwayne Thomas.
First charge timeout, Buffalo.
Well, that means they didn't have enough guys in the field, and Sean McDermott not happy about that.
Saw Cole Beasley in pregame warm-ups. Had a little moment with Jerry Jones. Jerry went over and shook his hand as Beasley left the Cowboy nest by way of free agency. And you know, you've talked about Sean Lee as the smartest player you ever played with. I hear that all the time. And I also hear so many allusions you make to the way Cole Beasley plays, and perhaps it's under the radar, you feel.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Cole Beasley was a rare weapon. Like, just he does the Edelman stuff, the stuff that really moves the chains, the Jason Witten stuff all those years that, you know, really make you get first downs on key situations. He's that kind of guy.
Hauschka with the PAT. We're tied at 7 in the second. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM. Temptations cat treats. All it takes is a shake. And by Lowe's, official home improvement sponsor of the NFL. Every year, Roger Staubach gathers some of his closest pals and family as well, and they play the annual Turkey Bowl. And this year was the 40th anniversary. Had a lot of NFL legends that were on hand. Guys like Tim Brown, Bob Lilly, Emmitt Smith, Tony Dorsett, Drew Pearson, Danny White, Rocket Ismail, Mike Singletary, Ed Too Tall Jones, among those are there. But Emmitt, you were there yesterday. Emmitt Smith, it's great to see you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Well,
great to see you,
being
pal.
here with you guys. I'll tell you what, I was there yesterday, and Ed Too Tall is still too tall.
He's still too tall.
He's still
That
too tall.
hasn't changed.
That has not changed.
Hey,
I'm still waiting for him to get to my height.
The NFL celebrating its 100th season and all these lists, and of course, there's no surprise as the NFL's all-time rusher, and they come out with the top 12 running backs of all time, and as Pollard takes it for about 3. Here's a little glance at the running back lists. You're there with these great players.
Here it is, Emmett. We're going to find out if you made the team.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Just barely got there.
Oh, man. That's not in any order, by the way.
Yeah.
Just alphabetical. But we got, it's interesting. I mentioned it earlier. Barry Sanders was in the booth with the Fox guys with Joe and Troy earlier today. We got you here. We got Gore on the field. We got 3 of the top 4 we're getting a chance to see today on Thanksgiving Day across America. As we see the Cowboys complete the pass to Jarwin for just a negligible gain. But what do you make out of Frank Gore that's in this game? He's in his 15th year. You played 15 years.
You know, it's amazing to be in the National Football League that long because, as you know, the National Football League stands for not for long, especially if you play in the running back position.
Right.
And you're only 5'9", 5'10", and you only weigh 200-some-odd pounds, and you're getting chased around by 300-pounders every week. To see Frank Gore, who's some person that I was in the booth with called him a journeyman, and he's absolutely correct. So when you see a guy like Frank Gore, who has put in the amount of work that he has to make it to this point, it's pretty awesome.
I mean, here's the list right here, 1 through 4. Still 3,000 yards behind you, Emmett. And then Peyton in second, Walter in second, and he moved past Barry Sanders. Saw the Cowboys pick up the first down with Taven Austin. So the Cowboys' new set of downs. How proud, after it's all said and done, you're just as many years removed from playing as the number of years you played. 15 years. I don't know what went faster, these 15 years in retirement. The Cowboys handed off to Pollard. No gain. The 15 years you played, or the 15 years post playing. What went quicker for you?
You know, for me, it's been the 15 years playing. Because it to me it has zoomed by, and it's kind of hard to believe that it's been 15 years ago that I retired from the game of football itself. And
it's like a different life.
Yeah, it is a different life. It's not like a different life. It is a different life. And so it's one of those lives where you get a chance to appreciate it, and you get a chance to come back and watch this Cowboys team here do their thing. Oh my gosh!
It is intercepted.
Say it isn't so.
Juggled and then picked up by the Bills.
This is probably a touchdown. I don't think anybody touched him.
Latulele has the football.
Well, it's a perfect call. It's a blitz, but it's a blitz opposite of a screen pass, and Dak tried to wait it out. And this is where you got to throw it just in the dirt. You're going to see.
Even the officials, Tony, aren't sure if he was down or not. They're summoning. As he made the pick at the 30, is he touched here? Yeah, he's touched.
He's touched.
Clearly touched.
Yeah. It's going to be
by Pollard.
It's going to be an interception. You see Starr there. Read the play.
Really got to feel the interception. The runner's down by contact at the 29-yard line. First down, Buffalo.
Starr Latulele with the interception of Prescott.
Well, and Dak's going to wait. He knows it's a screen to the left. And right there, you got to throw it in the dirt. And he tries to wait it out and just gives an opportunity for Starr to get in there and create that. And really uncharacteristic of Dak, who protects the ball really well normally. And what a play there to get over there and to catch that ball. I mean, that's not easy. You're not catching a lot of passes when you're 350 pounds.
Well, when you got extra cellulite on you can catch almost anything.
First career interception for Latulele as Allen keeps the football on the option read. So Cowboys train at the star. They got the star on the helmet. Then some guy named Star, not just some guy, Star Latulele, in his 104th career game, gets his hands on a pass for the first time and makes the interception.
Well, and in a game like this with these two teams,
that is
a
huge.
turnover is literally what usually ends up. When you look at two productive 8-3, 6-5, but two teams that play hard, very similar structure-wise in a lot of ways, that can be the difference sometimes.
Here's Allen with the flag out. It is knocked down back at the 33. Covington, who's had an active first half, is able to get the sack.
Oh, that's kind of suck. I'm gonna say goodbye to me that quickly.
Well, Emmett, we should say
well, I'm sorry.
hello again.
Hello and goodbye.
Never want you to leave.
Mr. Smith.
Holding. Offense number 73. Penalties decline.
Oh, you're
Result of
very
the play. Third down.
So Emmett, you know, a closing thought here about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Here's a team that's leading the division. And yet, you know, this week it's been a busy week with a lot of noise, as we've already talked about. What do you make of this team this year?
It doesn't feel like we're leading the division at all because of the things that you're bringing up. I mean, we have lost some games that we probably should not have lost, and we've been playing very up and down, mediocre football, if you will. As you can tell right now, we just turned the ball over on our side of the football field, and other things are starting to happen. So, you know, it doesn't look good. We need to get that chemistry back. I don't know where we lost it at, somewhere along the road, but we need to get it back.
And it's great points, and you see right there.
Jones break it up is going for Foster, and then Woods comes over and tries to make a play on the ball. They have a long field goal attempt from Hauschka from about 50 yards out. Hauschka has missed 5 of his last 6 from 50 plus.
Gotta make a play.
Well, that right there, that's a great job of tipping it by Jones, and had an opportunity right there for the interception. Big kick here, though. If you can get a turnover and give up no points, doesn't come back to bite you later.
Hey, he missed it. He missed it. Yeah, I can leave on that one.
That has been a blast, bro.
Hey, I have enjoyed it too.
There's a play-by-play future in you.
I doubt it very seriously,
Thanks,
but thank
man.
you very kindly.
Happy Thanksgiving. All right, the Cowboys, after driving it for a touchdown on their first possession, punt, interception, but it doesn't cost them. The Hauschka kick from 50 off the mark. 4:25 to go in the first half as Elliott leans ahead for 4. 10 carries, 56 yards for Ezekiel so far. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, Coach Cower. All the highlights from our game here in Dallas, plus the recap of the Bears' victory with Trubisky over 300 today and 3 touchdowns in the Chicago win. It's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Connor Williams shaken up. By the way, that 4th and a foot from inside the 20 we saw by the Cowboys, first play of the second quarter, was the first time any team in the league went for 4th down inside its own 20 in the first half this year, and they got it. First time.
Well, that's what we said. That's a gutsy
Well,
call.
you got the offensive line, you know, maybe the best in the league. You got Elliott behind you.
Well, if you know you're getting it, if you have a play that you love, that's usually what it comes down to. But, you know, Connor Williams taking off the field there.
Yep, Xavier Suafilo comes in for him.
It's still just really gutsy that early. I see it in the second
Credit
half
to him.
sometimes. I could be like, okay, but you're winning. And you could tell Jason Garrett wants this football game. To make a decision that early, you want to win every game you're playing, right? But you're not letting anything go possession-wise is what he's saying.
It was a statement, a definite statement.
100%.
As they get it to Cooper for the first down, a gain of 7.
Well, and Amari Cooper playing great today, and you can see the concerted effort by the Cowboys, especially on early downs. You see him on White here. The Cowboys have done a great job. This is the first play of the game. Motion him out, and they get him on Poyer, which is a better matchup. And they do a good job of getting him moved out and around, and really That's really been the difference so far than moving it. It's getting to him early in the down and then Zeke's big run.
Oh, the ball's taken right out of his hands by the Buffalo defense. Murphy comes up with it. It was Ed Oliver, the rookie first rounder, who just came from behind and stole the football away from the quarterback.
Well, you see on 76 to the left side, really a pretty good job. The ball's just got to go. And a little late, and Ed Oliver with a monster play for Buffalo.
Again in this season, celebrating the 100th in all. The NFL invited clubs, fans, players to huddle for 100 by volunteering in their community. And thanks to you, Huddle for 100 surpassed its goal of 100 million minutes. Volunteer in your community this holiday season to spread the spirit of service. Find out more by logging your minutes at NFL.com/huddle for 100. The Bills defense with its second takeaway of the quarter, forced by Ed Oliver. First time Prescott's been sacked in 86 dropbacks. Here's Singletary, and the Cowboys with a marker, a couple of them flying in, are all over the ball carrier, led by Robert Quinn.
Holding. Offense number 73. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Well, on the left tackle, Dawkins 73. You're going to see him wrap his arm around Collins right there. And that'll get called every time, especially at the point where the player's running by you with the ball.
First offensive penalty of the game against Buffalo. First and 20 now, back at the 49. Back shoulder throw, and it was a beautiful pass, but ball comes out of the hands of Knox.
Really a great job by Thompson. I mean, it's a perfect throw. Josh Allen, it's a wheel route, go up the sideline, and Knox has the chance at it. And that ball, that's why I said Thompson with the perfect defense. Good throw, good route, back shoulder, and the defense get his hands in. Give Thompson credit.
Feeling good about Knox, who's got a couple of catches, almost came up with a big one. Third round pick out of Ole Miss. Rookie, second and 20. Standing still in the pocket. And there is his man again, Cole Beasley. About a yard, maybe two short of a first.
Well, and this is just outstanding protection. And Cole Beasley, Josh Allen, if you're going to give him his time, he ain't going to miss. I mean, that looked like a statue in a good way. You want to be calm in the pocket and short yardage. I think they got that one.
I don't think so. They're already saying fourth down. And they're going to hurry up to the line. Was able to sneak one time for a first.
They're going to try it again, aren't they?
Yeah, fourth and a foot. And a mishandle on the snap. Allen picks it up, and he's still going. Look at Josh Allen.
Oh, my goodness. The quarterback just out-aggressive to the entire D-line.
Everybody.
Well, watch this. It's a bobble. He picks it up, and he's tackled. And then, honestly, this is why his teammates love him, though. He is a football player through and through.
Number 17 recovered the ball and gained a first down.
First down, Josh Allen. His teammates love him even more now after that.
I'm telling you, you've done a lot of games, okay? Have you ever seen something like that?
No. Pick up a mishandled snap, get stopped, and then just fight through everybody. 2-minute warning. Bills are driving, picking up the first on an incredible effort on fourth down. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by American Express, founder of Small Business Saturday. And by Jack Ryan, now streaming on Amazon Prime Video. Gene Steratore, let's get the official terminology of what happened on that last 4th down play.
Well, by definition, Jim, a snap from the center to the quarterback is considered to be a backward pass. And even though that's 4th down, by rule, anyone can advance a backward pass. And that's what just occurred. It was a muff snap. Josh Allen recovers it, takes it for a 1st down.
From the Cowboy 28. A little trickery and a pass to boot. Wide open. Singletary with the Buffalo touchdown. John Brown throws the touchdown pass.
Well, I'll tell you, this is incredible by Brian Dable here, because last week they did a couple cool stuff. You're going to see a handoff and the reverse this way. And you see Singletary leak out the sideline. And just, wow, that's when your coach can get you a touchdown by a design. And look at that throw, perfect spiral.
I mean, no one within 10 yards of him.
This stadium is stunned right now, what's happened over the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Extra point, Hauschka. No good. John Brown with his first NFL pass goes for a score. We're back in 30 seconds after this from Pepsi. Devin Singletary on the receiving end of John Brown's first ever NFL pass. For that matter, he never threw one in college either. But they call smoke. What a smoke screen it was. I mean, nobody saw that one coming, and Cowboys completely fooled. John Brown with the 28-yard touchdown pass. Extra point missed, however. 1:52 to go first half. Bills able to cash in 6 off the strip sack by Ed Oliver. And let's get a little greeting, if you will. Tre'Davious White of the Bills has this to say.
Hi, I'm Tre'Davious White of the Buffalo Bills. Along with my family and the entire Bills organization, we would like to wish you guys a
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, the little guy was upset, but what a beautiful family, and we thank you for that greeting. Cowboys at the 25. Prescott. Ball in the air, and it's intercepted by Hyde. There is a penalty down, penalty back at the 20. Marker down. Ball intended for Michael Gallup. Bill Vinovich.
Illegal use of hands. Hands in the face. Defense number 97. 5-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
And with that, the Cowboys avoid a 3rd turnover in the quarter.
Wow.
Jordan Phillips flagged for hands to the face.
I don't really see it there, but that was a tough call. But Dallas had a couple last week. I mean, New England, there was a couple, tripping calls they had. They were upset, and Buffalo's going to be upset probably on that one. But, like that defense, by the way, last week, how about these defenses? Buffalo in that division, New England's obviously amazing. They had a ton of great players.
Elliott saw that could have been intercepted as well, so he bats it out of bounds. Cowboys almost turning it over 2 straight plays.
This is the difference when you ball just a little low. Zeke tries to get down and does a good job actually hitting it out. But when you have a player, and this is what we're talking about in New England, they have Gilmore. They have a lot of guys who can cover. That whole secondary is good. But Buffalo has White. And when you have that, you can get a play here and there that just, make things difficult, and all of a sudden the drive ends. I think you have to have a guy like that if you're going to compete with Dallas.
2nd and 10. Squeeze in between the defenders. Cooper picks up a 1st down.
And you see right there, that's on Wallace. And so your ability to get Cooper into matchups where he's not on White, I mean, he's going to win if he's one-on-one consistently.
Cowboys have all of their timeouts. And a new set of downs at the 40. Here comes the blitz. And they get to Prescott. And it is Oliver again. The 9th overall selection in the spring draft out of the University of Houston. Gotten to Prescott twice in this quarter, one of them causing a fumble.
Well, it's outstanding play call to get pressure. Then Oliver does the rest. I mean, this D-line, they got a motor and they got a lot of guys.
2nd and 18, complete to Gallup. He's in the field of play, so clock running at 42 seconds.
As he gets taken out of bounds, though, if you're pushed and your body weight isn't moving forward, if you're not getting your body weight forward, if you're going backwards, you don't really get out of bounds. They keep the clock running. That's why you have to fight as a receiver to get your weight going back downfield.
Another blitz coming after Prescott. Able to complete it to Cooper. Big throw right there for Dallas. Cooper with the catch. Goes for 12 and a first down.
And Cooper does a good job coming back to the ball. Dak with excellent timing and throw on the sideline and giving them a chance. Dallas is great at the end of the first half in scoring points.
They were in that tricky zone 2 before the 3rd down snap. Do you take a timeout? Possibly leaving Buffalo some time to do something, so they didn't take it. They still have 3 timeouts. 25 seconds to go in the half. Elliott wiggles past 1 and gets down to the 30. Here's the timeout at 17 seconds. And we'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Lowe's. The Cowboys lead the league in points scored in the last 2 minutes of the first half. They've scored 47 points in the last 2 minutes. Maher, of course, their field goal kicker, first to ever successfully boot 3 from 60 plus. So they're well within his range. Ball at the 31. Incomplete. And again, the Verizon halftime report is coming up shortly. All the crew back in Studio 43. And we send along our best to everyone, all of our colleagues back at the Broadcast Center in New York. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Verizon halftime report coming up. What would you be doing right here, Tony? 13 seconds to go.
Well, you still have 2 timeouts. You really have 3 plays if you do things correctly. One needs to be quickly. You don't have to throw it out on the sideline because you have enough timeouts.
And Zeke goes out of bounds at the 24.
So you still, the timeouts are almost, they just don't matter at this point because you only have 2 plays left. You could throw it on the sideline, but you're not really going to get an opportunity for a touchdown. That's just a field goal decision there. You're trying to get closer. Right here, I'm attacking the end zone. With 8 seconds, they may call on defense something that's trying to protect the first down. You shouldn't. You should protect the end zone here and just give up the 8 to 10 yards. It doesn't change anything and make them kick the field goal. But they're going to be very aggressively aligned on defense. He's going to have to let this ball go. Oh, that was Sean McDermott faking like he was going to blitz everybody to see what you were going to do.
Second charge, timeout.
Outstanding, just to see what you were up in and what. Oh, this is really smart, Jim. This is what he did. He wanted to look, if he got in this on a 3rd down, what's your plan for it? Oh, when everyone's up in there, I move you out, Zeke, to see who goes to guard you. That way we don't have to block them, right? Oh, come back in. Well, now Sean just got a taste for it. If I do this in the second half on a blitz, I want to see what you're planned as an offense, as a coaching staff during the week. Really, really intelligent. He just bought himself 1 extra play of knowledge for the second half.
File that one away. Okay, back to the Cowboys with the snap from the 24. Can they make one throw to the end zone? Will anything be there? No, they go underneath instead. And Witten to the 17. And now you take the last time out of the half. You bring out Maher for a field goal from about 35 yards it'll be. Bills will be receiving, by the way, the 3rd quarter kick after deferring after winning the coin toss.
And really, I mean, if he makes the kick here, 13 to 10, it's just 1 turnover didn't cost him. They got it back. The other one obviously did. And that would be the difference. I mean, this game, we talked about it a little bit, before the game. I mean, this is one of those very stylistically teams, play hard, aggressive, smart football team on both sides, and it's just going to come down to a turnover. And that's really been the difference after this kick, one way or the other.
35 yards to close out the first half. Ladisar on the snap. Jones on the hold. The kick is wide of the mark, and it was deflected at the line. No good.
Boy, and Dallas needed that just to feel good after the way it went. And Buffalo with an outstanding first half. Let's see. Go ahead, just make that call. Go ahead and give me that hand. Who got that one?
You got
Jim?
that number,
No,
right?
no. This is your time. Go, go.
Look at this. They were trying to call a timeout. They didn't get it. Fortunately for them. Dallas was 7 points on its first drive of the game. Didn't score after that. Bills put up 13 points in the second quarter on a touchdown pass to Beasley. Touchdown pass from John Brown to Singletary. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station.
From the Kelly family.
That's all you're gonna say?
I'll
Here
keep
we
going.
go. Here, ready? 3, 2, 1. No, we don't want her in the picture.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On behalf of the Kelly family, we want to wish everyone out there a very happy Thanksgiving.
God bless you and enjoy the game.
There you go. Well said. And again, happy Thanksgiving from the Kelly family, from the CBS family to your families. Buffalo to receive the second half kickoff. But first, let's take a look at the first half highlight presented by State Farm. And it was the reverse pass from Brown to Singletary to give the Bills the lead. And what do you see coming up here in the second half?
Well, I see really a game that came down to 2 or 3 plays. I mean, you got to protect the football. It's number one. For Dallas, I mean, they're able to move the ball up and down the field. It's just a matter of protecting the football and finishing with points at the other end. Field goal, I mean, it's little things. It's been that way with Dallas all year. It's just a little thing here, a little thing there. But that right now is the difference in this football game.
Maher, ball on the tee, 35-yard line, and he drives it. About 2 yards deep to Andre Roberts. Sprinting ahead past the 20. And near the 30 on that run back, and we run downstairs to Tracy.
Well, thanks a lot. I had a chance to speak with Jason Garrett coming out, and he said, look, the turnovers killed us. We need to protect the football better. We cannot get behind the chains. He said he feels like his guys have a good look in their eyes in that locker room, and there are some things in the passing and the run game they can take advantage of. As for Sean McDermott, he said he liked how his team weathered the storm early. They settled down. They need to establish the line of scrimmage here and open up the passing game more. Jim?
Well, that passing game, Allen threw for 101 yards on 8 of 12, including a touchdown. And, of course, the trick play, touchdown pass. Rushed for 62 yards, and here they go again. And the marker down.
That's a pretty cool play by the Bills on the first one. Motion, come back and give the ball.
There is no flag. There is no flag. Picked up, and on they go. Second and 1.
And here's the halftime adjustments, Jim. What you do is you start to say, okay, we need to run the ball. This is what they're doing up front. Here's the fronts they're in, the stunts they're running. Let's run it on the edge. That was obviously a point of emphasis there.
Oh, what a play by the Cowboys to Marcus Lawrence. By the way, just to clear it up, Tony, you had it all along. Star Latulele, who had that interception first of his career, got a pinky on it. Sent it just wide, enough left on that field goal attempt to close out the first half.
It's incredible camera work to get that thing shown. And DeMarcus Lawrence, monster play there, very disruptive. And this is where Dallas can get after. You got to get the ball out of your hands very quickly. If Cole Beasley's one-on-one, that's who he'll be looking to.
Here's the 3rd and 4. Standing in the pocket and hitting Beasley on the go. Try to strip him. They actually strip the helmet off, but don't take the football away, and that's going to generate a flag.
The route that Beasley just ran here is, it's Welker, it's Edelman. All the guys, Amendola have been there through New England. You've seen a million times, and Jordan Lewis had no chance. You'll see it here.
After the play was over, personal foul, face mask, defense number 25, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So Woods called for that, and the Bills with the penalty will move the football inside the 35.
And that's another just a silly penalty. I mean, like, we keep looking at some of the little, I mean, you're just going to grab his face mask and rip it off for no reason. Beasley with that great hair of his. Wonderful stubble. I've known Beasley a long time, so he's a good kid.
Yeah, you guys had great chemistry out there on the field. Here's the 1st and 10. Complete to Gore as Lee sends him out of bounds, but another first down picked up by Buffalo. Gain of 14.
It's a great read. Allen looking to go deep, and then you see his head turn and fire that ball, and it's actually a good throw to your running back when they're open to turn them around and throw it on his back shoulder, so that way he gets his momentum getting back going forward, not running out of bounds.
10th catch of the season for Gore, who rushed 2 times in the first half for no yards. Gets the handle here, and now he's going to have 3 carries for -2. You said in the first half you were extolling all the things that he has done, the endurance, the way that he's operated as a professional. This is a 222nd career game. He and Emmitt Smith are the only 2 to ever start 200 games out of the running back position in the NFL history. And we even had Sean McDermott say to us last night he wished he would have been around Frank Gore earlier in his career just to see how a professional does it.
It's amazing, and Singletary's getting a lesson and a master class. He's got to get the ball.
Allen taken down by Lewis.
Well, instead of having Lewis, and really it's hard for anyone to guard Beasley one-on-one, they're going to pressure him off the left, and you see 27 right there. Josh does not see it coming, and a wonderful job by Lewis is taking his angle right where he wouldn't be able to get out of it.
3rd sack by the Cowboys. That one a loss of 11.
Well, and right here you're trying to get in better field goal range. If you get a perfect look, great. But this ball needs to get out of your hands quickly and get 8 to 10 yards and make it a serviceable and easier.
Oh, timeout called by the Bills on a 3rd and 23 play.
That is surprising.
While we have a moment, college football tomorrow, SEC on CBS, Missouri meeting up with Arkansas, and on Saturday, one of college football's great rivalry games, the Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn. That's all here on CBS. It's marking the 30-year anniversary, the first time Alabama played at Auburn back in 1989, and there is Jerry Jones' grandson, Arkansas quarterback, John Stephen Jones.
He's a great kid, great quarterback, state championship, Highland Park here in Dallas, and anybody who knows him can't help but really root for him, and he's going to have a really good career. I see him playing good in college.
3rd and 23 to Beasley, and they make that field goal much more manageable for Hauschka, getting it down to the 23, setting up a 41-yarder.
And that's exactly the right play, which is why I didn't love the timeout there. You're in a position you're going to make that throw anyway, and it's not like you're going to get the first down, but there was something they didn't love. Maybe they were being too aggressive with the call, but I think the quarterback would have checked it down anyway.
Beasley now with 5 catches for 99 yards and a touchdown. Hauschka, he was the Seahawks kicker in their Super Bowl seasons, and in those 2 postseason runs, he was perfect. Never missed a field goal or a PAT. He's missed from 50 today and missed a PAT. And this kick hits the upright and is good. Wow.
First that was wide right, and then it was, okay, doinked off, and then it's right back in. I mean, you totally saw that going in the whole way, right?
It had some serious movement, and it's good. 9-point lead for the Bills. Cowboys came out hot, took the opening kickoff, drove 75 yards in 9 plays, but nothing since. 16 unanswered by the Bills since that time.
Hi, I'm DeMarcus Lawrence of the Dallas Cowboys, and on behalf of my wife and my 3 beautiful kids and the entire Dallas Cowboys organization, we want to wish you and your family a Happy Thanksgiving.
Well DeMarcus Lawrence and his family. He's made some plays in this game. Always does.
Yeah, he's been disruptive even today. And
yep.
Right now the difference is the Bills aren't beating themselves, and the Cowboys have a few times. And this needs to be where they go right here, Jim.
Well, they go for 12. That ball may have come out at the end, as Elliott has a gain of 12 and now up to 70. 11 carries, 68 yards for the game.
Well, and you know, it's very simple. I mean, he's just cutting back all the way, and this is the one area I thought that could be troublesome for Buffalo in this game. They're very good on pass defense, but you can run on them a little bit, and if you get Zeke going, the game gets very easy offensively, and you see the ball just kind of comes back. But last week when I watched it, you know, he had 84 total yards in the first half and only 42 in the second. Today, 76. You know, so they got to stick with him.
Prescott stepping up and launching and hitting his target with a marker down. It's Gallup with the catch. The flag is on the far side of the field at the Bills' 46-yard line.
Yeah, I think this is on Buffalo. It looked like Johnson might have hit him before he actually, like, illegal contact, pass interference.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact. Defense number 29. Penalty decline. Result of the play, first down.
The result of the play is a 35-yard gain to the Bills' 28.
And give Kellen more credit. This is an incredible design play. And this is a halftime adjustment coming out and getting this drawn up and knowing what you're getting in the secondary, and Dak with a perfect throw.
And that is the longest play of the game by either side. Back to Elliott, squeezes through a small opening. Gain of 3, down to Tracy.
Jim, left guard Connor Williams is back out there. He missed most of the second quarter in the locker room dealing with a right knee injury. I was told certainly not 100%, but going to try and give it a go, Jim.
That Cowboy offensive line with Smith on his left side, Frederick the center, Martin the right guard, Collins right tackle. Some say best in the league. This combination of 5. Now back with all of them, the starters, and now just as soon as you say that, the Bills come crashing in with Shaq Lawson, who had 2 sacks on Sunday, and he's got another one here along with Phillips.
This is a big staple of the Cowboys. They motion here, and they love to run this play action. They've got a ton of stuff on there, and they get people all going down the field. And the Bills were very prepared for this. See the blitz off the slot? That now doesn't allow you to hold the ball, and it's a perfectly timed pressure by McDermott on a play that Dallas has been hurting everybody with this year.
3 sacks for the Bills to match the Cowboy total. And the marker down on the far side. Pre-snap.
Full start. Offense number 52. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Williams hobbling back off after Tracy said he wasn't 100% even returning to action.
You know, and that's the tough thing. You love the heart and fire to stay in, but it's also if it's possible that you can't do your job at a level that helps your football team, then you gotta put the next guy in.
Suafilo comes back in for him. 3rd and 19, trying to get in the field goal range at the very least, and they'll do that with Cooper stepping out just inside the 30. So Maher back out with his second attempt of the game. He's missed at least 1 field goal now in 7 of his last 10 games. In fact, at home this year is surprisingly 6 of 11. This is 47 yards. Get it down to a 1-score game. And that kick sails right. He struggles from the right hash mark, or left hash mark. Cowboys come up empty. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Taco Bell's Rolled Chicken Tacos Party Packs. Bank of America, what would you like the power to do? And by Pfizer. So the Bills, off the missed field goal, take over at the 37. Yeah, in this game, kicking department for both sides has been underwhelming so far, as the Bills get it out to the 42 with Singletary for 5. Bills owner on the right, Terry Pegula. CEO.
Oh, there you are. Caught himself on the screen there, and what a job he's done, you know, with getting Brandon Beane and hiring McDermott. Outstanding, really, this franchise, you can tell.
This team right now, 2-game lead in the AFC first wild card position. 2 games behind New England in the AFC East as Singletary picks up 2 more. If the Bills won today, Tony, it would clinch just their 4th winning season in 20 years. As you see, New England right now at 10-1. Baltimore, by the way, will be coming up next for the Bills. Baltimore first, though, has a little matchup with San Francisco this weekend.
That's a big-time game right there. That's 2 teams that could easily be playing in February. New England always has something to say about that, but some really good football teams there at the top.
3rd and 4. Allen in the pocket. Fires it in complete for the first to McKenzie, the former Bronco in his 3rd year.
Well, you're going to see all the way across the field 19 McKenzie, and it's a perfect throw, and that was a big play. I mean, right now at this point in the game, this is the time where you're down now 2 scores. And if you're Dallas, to get down another score right now really puts you in that position where you have to be perfect the rest of the game to get in position to win it at the end. Buffalo obviously is trying to take as much time and also go down, and they need a touchdown to make it.
There's Sean Lee right on the back.
To make it a 3-score game.
Of Knox. Here's the 23-year challenge. The last Bills 8-3 start coming in 1996. There's Sean McDermott back in college. There's Josh Allen as an infant, 1996. 6 players on this roster not even born yet. Last time, hey, Macarena was the #1 song at this time, yes. 23 years ago.
The Macarena.
Still,
I remember you dancing to that song. You were doing the shimmy, whatever it was.
Still #1 in my house.
Terms for you 20-year-olds just out there having fun.
Yeah, good catch and run up to his feet. McKenzie was never touched. So he wisely is able to stand up and pick up another 3 or 4. Total of 19.
Very similar route. Going to go up and go across the field. Beasley gets the attention. 2 guys, and it leaves McKenzie coming underneath. And just a very efficient day of football for Buffalo, right? Just each thing systematically. This is how they play. They just don't beat themselves. And so far, that's been the difference.
I don't believe they've run a play in the red zone. They have not run a single snap in the red zone. And they're up 16-7. They will on the next play for the first time as Beasley goes over 100 on the day with that catch and run for 11.
And it's hard to prepare for everything in Buffalo's game. He looks at the box, fake it, throw a quick one. And Beasley doesn't need a whole lot of space to get yards. Good block by his fellow receiver, but good decision by the quarterback not to hand it off.
Beasley now 6 catches, 110 yards, and the Bills' first touchdown. 4 receiver, make it 5 receivers on the field right now as they go empty. First snap inside the 20. Allen, open field, inside the 10, and he goes all the way for the touchdown. He's got yet another game with a touchdown pass and a touchdown run. 15 yards out.
He is tough to bring down. He's really big and he's fast. And once he gets this ability to go up and under, it's all over the tape. I mean, he leads the team in rushing touchdowns, right?
That's number 8 right there.
Number 8, and Foster does a great job at the end. I'm sorry, it's Brown with a great block. And Josh Allen's been doing this to a lot of teams. Sean Lee tries to get all the way across the field and make the play. He had about 40 yards to run to get there, and Buffalo has silenced this crowd right now. Oh, I thought they would go for 2 maybe here, Jim.
Well, this to make it a 16-point margin. Hauschka dead center with this one. 8 on the year, 16 in his 2 seasons. On the ground, Josh Allen. What a game. All right, inside the stadium, getting ready to provide the feast. Right now, I'm sure that a lot of Cowboy fans have lost their appetite the way this has been going lately. 23 unanswered by the Bills.
You knew it'd be tough in here, but this is...
Especially after the start.
Oh, I mean...
Let's go down to Tracy.
Well, you know, guys, I didn't lose my appetite. Everything is bigger in Dallas, including the Thanksgiving buffet. I got a little stuffing over here. I'm going to move on, see what this suite has for me. I don't know. Oh, this little girl, she's got some turkey. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You know, football, food, that's what you do on Thanksgiving. We got some mashed potatoes. And of course, there is nothing like some pumpkin pie. Thank you, guys.
Back to you, Tony and Jim.
Thank you, Witten, with the catch.
I tell you, Tracy, did she tell those people to all cheer?
No.
Because right now everyone's quiet in the stadium, but those people are howling at Tracy right next to her.
Well, you know what, guys? It's dinner time. It is dinner time. They know it. They know it. They're just happy to be on TV. You know how that is.
Absolutely. Thanksgiving. Nothing like it.
Here's a 2nd and 5. And that'll be enough for the first down. That's the way we get our catered meals these days at CBS. We just kind of go along.
We walk down along the side and say, are you eating that?
Yeah.
Are you eating that? How about one of those over there?
Can I have some of that? Of course, our producer Jim Rickoff always does a pretty good job at finding out where the food is, doesn't he? Happy Thanksgiving to you, James. Ryan Galvin, Mike Arnold, and all the crew. And a completion to the Buffalo side of the field to Cobb. Randall Cobb's come in hot the last 3 games, and he's got his first catch of this one.
And they're going to the same play they started the game with, to Cooper. It's Cobb in key situations, you know. You see it all the time. Great decision, good throw. Cobb still playing at a very high level. Showed up big in a few games this year.
Prescott incomplete. Would have gone for about 8, but Kevin Johnson, the former Texan, taking that out of the hands of Gallup. Place is flat, Tony. I mean, this stadium, I think, is in a little bit of shock after the Cowboys come out, roar down the field, roaring with a 75-yard drive. And
yeah, it's a nervous energy right now, and I think you feel like Dallas thought, people don't know, 8-3 Buffalo, they play really sound football, and they have very, good football players on that team. This is not the same Buffalo you've seen in the past, and I think you're experiencing that today. And Dallas, they're going to have to turn this around fast.
Going for it fast and long. With a feet in for Austin, out of bounds.
Well, it's a shot play down the sideline. But the problem is Johnson does a good job of pushing him to the side. See, once you're a receiver, your job is to keep width. I mean, he's way out of bounds. Your job as a receiver is to keep a lot of width between you and the sideline so your quarterback can throw you away from the defender. If you're really close to the sideline, it's the same as having another defender right there. There's nowhere to throw the ball.
3rd and 10. Down 16. Prescott in trouble. Great job getting away. Taking off, turning the corner. Challenges White. Oh, he does something. Oh, and a flag's down too. Much like what we saw with Josh Allen on that 4th down run. He just took on the defender and had enough for the first. We'll check the marker.
Well, the play at the end, I don't know what the flag would be unless someone hit him late. Maybe Hughes late. 55.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Defense number 55.
It's on Hughes.
15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Tremendous effort by Prescott here to keep the play alive and then take off and take on the Buffalo defense. That's Hughes almost got him for the sack. got to his feet, and he'd get flagged at the end of this. Okay, Gene's territory did that merit a flag right here, this hit?
You know, as I'm just watching it, Jim, it looks like Hughes is committing to the tackle as Dak is still reaching for the first down. It's pretty close. I'm kind of surprised at that.
Yeah, it's a bang-bang call, and the guy who threw it came from all the way across the field, too. But, I mean, the effort Dak just gave there, I mean, trying to will his team, that was
big. Here's his throw. Down to the 10, and inside the 10 with Cobb. The catch to the 8, gain of 13.
Dangerous throw. I think Dak gets fooled a little bit by the coverage here. You don't want to throw an outbreaker to a corner who's sitting, but it's a perfect spot that he puts it. And Cobb with a great catch. And 2 monster plays for Dallas right here. Now they got to punch it in to get them back in the game. If you're a Bills fan, hold them to 3.
To the end zone and tight coverage on Cooper by Tre'Davious White. 2nd and goal. Kellen Moore, he's done backup quarterback here. First year as the offensive coordinator.
I think his first start, I think it was against Buffalo, if I remember correctly. It might have been his first start career. He had 2. I'll tell you a story about him in a second, but he's doing a great job here.
Here's a 2nd and goal throw, and good coverage again by the Bills defense. Milano contains him, just a gain of 3. It'll be 3rd and goal from about 6 yards out.
Dak gets the ball out of his hands, gets to the sideline, and Zeke, it's a physical sport out here. Monster player, 3rd down. It's questionable about 4 down territory here. I mean, if you're going to go for it inside your 20, this is peanuts, but you got to get some yards here. You can pass or throw. They're obviously going to throw it here.
Looking to the end zone, pass, Gallup pulled it in. Was he in? They say yes. Touchdown Dallas.
Well, if this is in, it's an unbelievable catch. It just looked to me like his foot kind of hit that side, Jim, but we'll see. Whoa, what a catch right here with the one hand. Let's see. 1 foot, yeah, that's going to be.
The 2nd foot's not even close.
Oh, that was a great effort by Gallup, but you got to get that left foot. Just tap the ground right there.
Never did.
That'll be coming back.
Pinned it against his shoulder, but unable to get the left foot down.
The previous play is under review.
You know, we know what the outcome's going to be here.
Timeout.
They'll take a look at it. We'll step aside for a moment. The NFL on CBS, sponsored by Walmart. Happy price, happy holidays. And by Pepsi, always be celebrating. While we were away, of course, as we expected, incomplete after the touchdown was reviewed, and the Cowboy offense is out here, Tony, on 4th and goal from the 6.
Well, it's a big decision here. I think you could tell when they went for it on their own 20, basically, early, up 7-0, that these decisions today were made before it started. And so here we go. This is everything right now.
Snap to Prescott. Looking for Elliott. The pass isn't there. And the Bills were converging anyway, and Buffalo takes over on downs.
This was Dallas assuming Sean McDermott was going to run some sort of a man play, and Sean McDermott comes out and runs zone and has everyone just waiting on the side, and the throw's not obviously where it needs to be. And
Tony, the decision to bypass field goal in the last minute of the 3rd quarter could have got it down to 13. What was your thinking there?
Well, like I said a little bit, I mean, he's doing what he thinks is giving them the best chance to win. I promise you, there's nothing different there. I mean, that's a decision that multiple different people make, but, you know, if you don't get the right look, it doesn't hurt you to be like, hey, if you don't, when you tell them to go in, right? Kellen Moore says, if you don't get the right look, take a 5-yard penalty, kick the field goal from what, the 11?
Singletary breaks one. Picks up a big chunk, about 14 or 15 yards on that.
And that's the only thing. It's like, I don't mind the aggressiveness. I just mind, you know, because sometimes you got to know you're right if you're really in a situation like that. And what a run. This kid's going to be a really, really good player, and especially being around Frank Gore for so long.
That'll close out the third quarter. Bills put up 10 more points in the third. We're heading to the fourth, 23-7 Buffalo. You're watching the NFL on CBS. What we've seen as we start the fourth, the Bills with 23 unanswered points. Cowboys have given it away a couple of times, missed a couple of field goals, and turned the ball over on downs. There in the last 30 seconds of the third. Here's a handoff. Singletary met quickly behind the line of scrimmage by Michael Bennett. Sets him back 2 yards.
Good pickup. Michael Bennett's done a really good job in certain packages for this team. He knows the system at the back of his hand, very similar to Seattle.
2nd and 12 to Brown. It'll set up third down and about 7 coming up for the Bills. Cowboys need to get the football as quickly as they can. They're down 2 possession scores, if you will. Cowboys the last 5 drives have turned it over twice, missed a couple of field goals, and as you saw again, failed on 4th down. 3rd and 8 we'll call it. Looks more like 3rd and 6, but we'll call it. Right off the graphic.
Well, if Jalen Smith comes, this ball's going to Beasley quickly.
Complete to Singletary.
This is really outstanding. Jalen Smith comes right after him. As soon as that happens, this ball has to come out really fast. And he had 2 choices. And he chooses the guy who's open with the quickest route, Singletary. And really just a good job. Today, I mean, Allen is playing really, really good. Very efficient, and he's moving, running well. Just perfect decision making.
In the round to Foster. Hurdles past Sean Lee. And then collides with a couple of Cowboy defenders. Josh Allen with that last pass play 2 plays ago goes over 200 for the game.
Well, and you see earlier in the game, slides up in the pocket, finds Beasley. Little flick of the wrist for him. But his ability to just create move. This team is really tough to beat if they don't turn the ball over, because they don't beat themselves. And they're showing it today. And Josh Allen with the ability to complete some of these 3rd down passes. Beasley there, Singletary there.
And he's completed his last 11, which is the longest streak of his career. And maybe a loss of 1 that time for the Bills. Singletary. He's got 95 total yards in the game.
And then the clock. I mean, a couple drives, you know, just keep Dallas off the field in any rhythm. There's a rhythm to the game, and when you miss field goals, you get no points. You feel like you did a whole bunch of good stuff, and then you go back and sit for another 4 or 5, 6 minutes off the clock in the game, but you really haven't gotten any points, and that's really tough.
Needs 4 for a first. Protected, throws it, completes it. Foster with another first down pickup. I thought Allen might run for the first, but he's got such a lively arm. He's able to flick it right in there. It's in a tight window.
And no one's covered. And this is why having a guy, and you're right, he could have easily ran for that. But, you know, he creates the ability for Foster to get open by the end of that play because of his legs. We just showed you. You've got to keep him in the pocket, which is why a 5-man rush gives you the best opportunity. But then you got to cover Beasley or one of these guys really quickly, and you can't lose if you don't like your matchup there. It's death either way.
Picked up 20 on that 3rd down play. And Allen with Lee riding him down. When we talked to Sean McDermott about Josh Allen, last night. He said when he came back for year 2, you could just tell immediately he worked on his game. And we asked for more specifics. He said the accuracy, the quickness in his release, it was noticeable that he had made strides.
You're exactly right. And this is what you love. I mean, when we go talk to these quarterbacks, I love when a coach would tell me that, because I'm like, if you're really going to be great in this league at a quarterback position, it's got to just wear, and you have to think about it, analyze it, and constantly want to improve. Like, oh, it just eats at you. And that's Josh Allen. That gives you a really good chance. Again, there to come back and be better the next year, and to be what your team really drafted you for. And just that attitude alone makes you improved. And then the fact that he actually showed it in OTAs. I mean, his ability, he just wasn't quite accurate enough when I saw on some of the short stuff. That's coming on. He's got all the throws down the field. You just wanted to see him get through progression and throw it quickly aside, and I think you're seeing the development in this part of the year, the last 5-6 games, of a guy who can really help this football team be really good.
Facing another third down. 3rd and 4. Down the field he goes. And incomplete. Oh, flags out. He went back to Dawson Knox. And Thompson saying, wait a minute, what did I do?
We'll see what the call is. This is
Pass interference. Defense number 23. Butt foul. Automatic first down.
I'm going to let Gene go, because I think sometimes if you jump back into him, Gene.
You know, the issue with it, though, Tony, is when Thompson doesn't turn and play the football whatsoever, and he's running right through the receiver.
That's exactly
right. You don't have him turning around playing ball at all, so he's just going through.
If he turns his head right when you're jumping back into him, that's not a penalty then.
I agree. Yes.
That's an 18-yard penalty. Sets him up 1st and goal from 10 yards out. Little bootleg action. And he'll be set back 4. As Lewis, along with Smith, collide with Allen. As we move inside now, 10 minutes to go. Sean McDermott has been in this building many times, long time defensive coordinator in this league. Spent 12 years on the staff with Philadelphia, 2 as a defensive coordinator. A lot of years competing against the Cowboys in the NFC East.
And his system is as tough to deal with as any, because it's actually very sound. It keeps stuff in front of him.
Singletary up the middle. Push back. He got to about the 9.
And yet they have a lot of stuff. It's not that easy to disguise coverage, give the quarterbacks different looks, and then all of a sudden be sound and simple. And it's a joke I have whenever I see him. It's like, oh, we don't do too much. I'm like, you do a lot and a little all at the same time, which is the greatness of their, culture and their scheme now.
Here's a 3rd and goal. This drive has already gone 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Out of the pack, he throws it incomplete.
Well, people talk about it's actually a good job getting around and not possibly throwing an interception. That's the number one way. You have to get points there. It's the number one thing you do. Is
field goal is huge.
Field goal on this one. Although it seems as though the outside of the bars is a lot closer today than the inside to the football.
Hauschka, whose father, Peter, back in 1967, was signed by the Cowboy Hall of Famer Gil Brandt when he went on something called a kicking caravan around the country. Signed him, never did play for the Cowboys. Got to look to camp. And now Hauschka, the son, in his 12th year in the league, puts the Bills up 19 with 8:20 to go. Big drive that lasted over 7 minutes. Coming up, the State Farm postgame show. JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, Coach Cowher. highlights and analysis from this game here in Dallas on the State Farm post-game show. Hauschka, after connecting from 26 yards out, giving the Bills a 26-7 lead. The mistakes, they've been there for the Cowboys. Started in the second quarter, really.
Yeah, and it continued. That's the thing. When it starts going the other way, then every little thing, this is why we said early, every little thing matters once you get yourself into a little hole. All of a sudden, a tip ball, you got to be perfect, and they just haven't been. Now they're in a position that has to be obviously a 2-minute situation. You got to score quickly twice.
Trying to make the tiptoe catch incomplete. You saw 26 straight Bills points. That's the third most Dallas has ever allowed in succession in a Thanksgiving game. And this is their, again, 52nd appearance on Thanksgiving Day. And their possession chart, well, the last time they got all the way down inside the 10 came up empty.
You see two scores, two-point conversions, get yourself into 3, get an onside. You'll have to use 3 of these timeouts on the second possession probably. But it doesn't really look like that's the way they're playing today right now. Just not, right there. Look at the pressure too. The movement up front. And then eventually it gets around to disrupt the timing, but
the Bills have been impressive. There's no doubt about it. A team that has not been highly exposed at the national level by any means.
They're telling everyone right now, you got to understand this team. If you do not have, a game plan or something, I really feel like the Cowboys had a game plan today. They had good stuff. It's just like the little things. It was the tip. It was just a random turnover.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 55. Unimpeded to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
But these games, they get away from you at weird moments, right? It's the middle of the second quarter where all of a sudden 2 plays go the wrong way, and now you have to, now that all of a sudden the flag on a pass interference later in the game just kills you. It's a monster call, whereas before it's just another play and we move on.
Cowboys need 5 for a first. And they get it with Austin out to the 42.
McDermott sends more pressure, and zone pressure has been one little bit of an Achilles heel where the ball has to come out of your hand. You don't just get time to stand back there, and Dak did a good job there, but that's one area McDermott's done a good job of today.
Down the middle, on target. Gallup has it to the 41. That picked up 17. Half a quarter to go. They bring the blitz. The Bills got a hand on that one as Gallup was the intended receiver.
And this is a free safety blitz off the left side, and when they come, that's a slant right there. And Sean McDermott has gone against this a lot. He understands that you're running that, and that really could have been picked off. Wallace makes a good decision. When you blitz extra guys, there's hot route stuff in the game, and they ran one there.
Leslie Frazier, the D coordinator of the league's third best defense by yardage, third fewest points allowed, and only today allowing a touchdown on the first drive of the game. 2nd and 10. Cooper somersaults for about 8.
Oh, and this is worst case for Dallas, that Cooper would somehow get injured for any future games. He's a monster piece. Oh, ouch, right in that left knee.
Yeah, straighten out the left knee and leg. Cowboy staff around him. We'll step aside for a moment. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. And by AT&T. Amari Cooper did walk off on his own. He's played in every game this year despite injuries to a foot, knee, an ankle, quadriceps injury. He's got the helmet on as if he wants to get back in shortly. 3rd and 2. That's a first down to Witten. By the way, Jason Witten's come back after a year in the booth. This many years in the league, we saw him score the Cowboys' only touchdown in this game.
Well, and this right here, you know, you can see it. He's run this route 1 million times.
Absolutely.
Same first play of the game, and you know, your ability to be able to play this that long, him and Frank Gore, truly exceptional. Just rare guys.
That one falls incomplete. But to come back for your 16th year and still, you know, post numbers. I mean, he's now at 47 catches on the year, 3 touchdowns, on his way, of course, to a Hall of Fame.
Oh, no question. I mean,
recognition.
He's had a career like really none other, and I mean that, you know, from a tight end position, he's in the same categories we were talking about earlier with Gore and Barry and Emmett and Walter, and I think he just wanted to come back and win. He's a football player, and this is going to hurt him with any loss today.
2nd and 10. You saw Cooper was back out onto the field for that snap. And they may be looking for him on 3rd down coming up. That was intended for Jarwin. Next catch, by the way, for Witten would be catch number 1,200 of his remarkable career.
You see the movement up front. One guy goes up, the other goes under. That's what you have to do against their offensive line. They're too big to go one-on-one, and you know, the teams have had success. They've just run a lot of movement. Every team watches the tape. You're going to see it more going forward. And
3rd and 10. Out of the pocket and taken off. 4 yards short of a first.
You love his heart, but you don't want to do that. If you're a Cowboy fan, you hold your breath right there because you're in a position, you know, it's an unlikely finish, but if you had any chance, it's right now, right, Jim?
Yep. 6 minutes to go. Can they keep it alive from behind? They get him. Ball is knocked out of his hands by Murphy. And the Bills are taking over no matter who recovers. The Pagula box celebrating what is an exceptional performance here before the nation. Beating America's team soundly today here on their home turf. Again, the State Farm post-game show immediately after this one. James Brown, Phil Simms, Nate Burleson, Boomer Esiason, Coach Bill Cowher. All the highlights from this game and their take on what's going on around the league. State Farm post-game show. Inside 6 minutes. To Gore for no gain.
Well, the one thing about Buffalo, when you prepare for them, it's normal. Zone read, right? You got a quarterback who can move and run around a little bit like a lot of teams. But then they do some unique stuff. Quarterback sweep. You know, the quarterback power, some of the unique things. Guess who else is doing that?
Yeah.
In Baltimore, and teams are having a lot of trouble with this because you have to prepare differently for a lot of the different stuff. It's a man scheme, it's a zone scheme, it's a quarterback power scheme. There's only so much time in the week, and then all of a sudden they just come out and throw the ball. And today, there's a few times where, you know, they were able to get him on some key situations, and you know, it's just a really smart way to utilize a quarterback skill set, and they're doing that with Josh Allen, and he has quite the skill set.
Might have seen that graphic. The first rush touchdown by a quarterback of 15 or more yards on a Thanksgiving Day game since Jim Kelly at Detroit on Thanksgiving Day 1994. Jim, who graced the opening to our broadcast with what we call our opening tease. It was as great a piece as you'll ever see on this special American holiday, giving thanks, having a heart filled with gratitude.
No question.
Timeout again for the Cowboys. They've used 2 on the last 2 snaps. That's interesting. You're setting up how Allen can run it, how Lamar Jackson's running the football. And again, that's going to be a matchup next week.
Oh, I'm telling you, Baltimore and the Niners right now are playing outside of New England. Those are the three teams that stand out to me a little bit right now. And there's obviously, you know, 3 or 4 other teams out there right in there. You know, New Orleans, you got Seattle, and obviously Kansas City's going to have something to say before the end of this, I believe.
3rd and 9 to Gore, and the Cowboys will take their last time out.
And how about maybe Buffalo getting in the mix after today?
Hey, you're talking 9 and 3.
I'm saying if they keep winning, it's just at some point you're going to have to take them serious. And I really believe that they put their head down, they go to work. Both these teams really both do that. You just hear about Dallas a lot more, but that's the coaching philosophy. Win each day and don't worry about what else is happening, and they're doing that right now.
Coach McDermott traveled his family with him to Dallas, wife Jamie and their 3 kids. And said, where are you sitting? He said, we want to sit up high because we've heard all about, you know, the giant 60-yard long monitor from all angles. We'll be fine up there. And I'm sure they've enjoyed almost every minute of it. The way this game is broken for the Bills.
It is quite the monitor. It's something you've never seen before. Once you come here, it's different, and it's really special and unique. And Buffalo was not in awe of that today.
No, it wasn't, as they say, too big for him. Bajorquez with a kick, directional kick. It didn't go as deep as he had hoped. Out of bounds at the 30, 34-yard boot. So in 11 days, they will host the Ravens. We'll have that game on CBS. That's quite a day with that game early, and Kansas City at New England late, which we'll be watching in person. Then at Pittsburgh and at New England on a Saturday before closing out with the Jets. Bookend games against the Jets. Their season opened with them down 16-0 to the Jets and rallied back to win 17-16. And that is catch number 1,200 for Jason Witten.
Old staple right there. That's started a lot of 2 minutes from right there. You get up Y option and let them go, and a lot of timeouts.
2nd and 2. There's a good throw and a good catch too. That's Cobb climbing the ladder. Question is, can the Cowboys turn this around? The momentum right now is not going in the right direction, but you still got to say to yourself, had a chance to control our own destiny in the division.
Oh, I mean, this is going to be one of those games. It's going to be a rough week again for them.
They don't get the 10-day or 11 days between games. They'll go again next Thursday at Chicago, which won earlier today, and both of those teams will go into that game at 6-6.
And this is the one thing with Dallas that comes up. Today was going to answer some of that. Was just beating team, you know, that's 8-3. Somebody like, you know, Minnesota, another team that's in the mix with everyone else. I mean, those games, they had opportunities. New England, they had opportunities. Today's a little different because you really, you know, didn't put yourself in position like you were in some of those others. And I think that, you know, people just want to see
illegal
one.
use of hands. Hands in the face. Defense number 92.
But no one's really going to care if you get in the playoffs and go
Penalties
and run
declined.
through this.
Result of the play is first down.
And the battle for the division.
It's coming down to that. Like, it's
at Philadelphia.
It's going to be, I think it's going to play out where that game right there, you know, is going to be for the division and puts you in, obviously, and that gives you an opportunity. And that's all you want right now. If you're a Cowboy fan, it's like, hey, that'll be the time. If we have to beat teams at that point, you can play your best football. You can tweak things. You can do little stuff to make your team better. You know, you just have to adapt as the season continues to go along.
From the 15 to the end zone. And it is caught for a touchdown by Des Bryant. Oh, Pantel Bryant. Yeah, there is another Bryant catching passes now in Dallas. Just recently signed.
And you see Bryant go right up the field, and Dak fires it with a really, really good throw. And Bryant.
I thought it was Terrence Williams.
Hey, it's got 83. A little Terrence look with
83.
a little Bryant.
who caught your last throw for a touchdown.
2-point conversion. So you just told me on the side you think they can come back and do this.
I did, right? Yeah. That was coming from my mic.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to throw this one. You're not going to hand this ball off.
You gotta push that out.
Quick throw outside. Cooper on a fade. Let's see if he gets it.
How about Witten for the 2?
Outstanding job. You can throw the fade to Cooper. Thought he was going there, and Witten runs an outstanding route. This is when you know you trust your guy. Watch, he just has to break out. Problem is, no one ever throws that. That's actually covered 99% of the time, but Witten just makes it look easy, like it's a throw and catch.
By the way, it just went 70 yards in 87 seconds. Pick up 8 points on the trip.
Problem is, you're out of timeouts.
Yep.
And so at this point, it's first down. I think we'll pretty much end it, but you're going to probably need to get 2 or so if you're Buffalo, if it takes 3 plays each.
By the way, doubleheader Sunday is coming up. Let's do another game, Tony. This has been so much fun. I say let's go to Kansas City.
Let's go to Kansas.
Let's do it. We'll be there. Cleveland and Pittsburgh. That's going to be a huge game. All kinds of implications, too. They're still on the wild card hunt. Both of those teams, the Browns have won 3 in a row, but we'll see you with Oakland, Kansas City. All starts with NFL today. Here comes the onside kick. Maher's kick is recovered by Micah Hyde. Did you see this week where there's now some talk that the league is going to take a look at that onside kick Hail Mary scenario we talked about in the Jets-Cowboys game earlier this season, where you give a team a snap on a 4th and 15 from somewhere like its own 25-yard line, because the odds now are so slim about recovering it due to the news. Give them credit, trying to put safety into the game, putting only 5 players on the side. It's got momentum going right now.
I got to think about that, but that's interesting. I like it. I mean, it is, the onside kick is kind of pointless, right? I mean, what is it? We're going to have how many this year are going to get it?
Not many. I know the Lions recovered 1 today.
Okay, so how many have we seen?
That was a surprise onside kick, though. Like when you line up and
that doesn't count. A real onside kick at the end of the game, if no one's ever going to get it, then it's, why are we doing it? It's like the old school extra point where people missed them once,
I'm going to get the numbers for you here in a minute.
That's why they changed that thing, too. So if
Ethan Cooperson's going to crunch the numbers. You've been hearing at times people shouting Coop. It wasn't for Amari. It was for Ethan Cooperson. Here's 2nd and 6, our stats man extraordinaire. Gore. Jalen Smith brings them down about 1.5 yards short of the first.
Well, and this will do it. If they get a first down, it's over. I mean, obviously, it's unlikely anyway, but, Buffalo coming in here, showing you their ability. They're a complete football team, really, in a lot of ways.
2 out of 37 before today.
The onside, though.
2 out of 37.
Yeah, you're not getting it very often, and that's why they're going to probably do something there. But looking ahead, I mean,
3rd and 1 coming.
It was tough this week in Dallas. After that.
Yes, it was.
Loss. And that's at New England, in a very tough environment that no one wins at anyway. But this one's going to be another rough week.
Cowboys score, fighting for it. You're going to have him inches shy of his great second effort by Gore, because they had him around the neck.
Well, Sean Lee was actually, I think, when you go back and watch the tape, has played a really outstanding football game. You see him grab him right there, playing for Van Der Esch, and makes the stop, I believe, and gives him a
It's going to be a little short. It'll be 4th down coming up out of the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go as the Bills lead it 26-15. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light Platinum, reminding all nights to enjoy responsibly, and by Microsoft Surface. Well, Sean McDermott is going to challenge the spot on the carry by Frank Gore.
It's really smart. It's outside of 2 minutes still, even though there's 2 minutes, you can do that. But it's also smart because what are you saving that timeout for? If it's close, you do it. And I think there's an outside chance he gets this right there.
It's pretty darn close.
That marker's at the beginning of that line.
Yep, and it looks like he's right in the middle of that line. Gene Steratore, what do you see?
I totally agree. I think it's a great decision by Coach McDermott to do it. As Tony said, he doesn't have much to do with the timeouts he has remaining. And Frank Gore does a great job also of just extending without that knee touching the ground. So, in my opinion, the first thing that touches the ground is that elbow with the football right up by that line. The challenge for Bill Vinovich, though, will be when you do go out there and move that football, just where do you put it?
I don't think he'll use a card to do it, Gene. So that's probably one thing we can eliminate.
I like the point that you made, Gene. He stayed airborne, if you will. See, look, he's actually on the far side of that hash mark. And you said, Tony, just need to get to the front side of it.
Well, look, right there. This is the point at which that first down is, the front of that line. And down right now. So here's the front of the line. So go ahead and move it forward a little bit. That ball has to be past that, it looks like, but you don't see it. And I can see them not overturning it because you can't really see it. However, it does look like he's past there based on those replays. But either way, give us a call, Jim. What do you got?
After reviewing the play, the route on the field stands. Buffalo is charged with their second timeout.
Well, now they'll go for it anyway. Frank Gore has rushed for 10.9 miles in his career, and he needed just another inch on that one. Maybe he'll get it on this one.
Why does he get to 11? How close are you on those miles?
10.9. 10.9. Got DeMarco in as a fullback. They push the pile forward, and now we'll just have some kneel downs to close it out. Tony, you've been in so many of the Thanksgiving Day games, and what's the vibe like when you're not on the winning side of it? You're going home, and the families have been preparing.
Yeah.
You know, Dak Prescott's grandmother came in from Louisiana, and she had a big feast waiting for him. You know, what is it like for this team? And I know it's going to be a lot of questions in the air, too, about what's going on after these last few days.
Well, the first thing, every loss is terrible. When you lose at home, it just, at least you have your wife and your family around you, but it feels like the end of the world every week, or it feels like your favorite week in your life. I mean, it's a very difficult thing for these players and coaches, and it was a rough week coming in here for some of the people in Dallas, and I think you're going to see this week will be somewhat similar. This one at home, it just feels, you know, at least when you're at New England, this one's just tough. I mean, I still think Dallas.
Encroachment, defense number 79. Inside 2 minutes, we'll set the play clock at 40, and we'll wind both clocks.
The Cowboys have not beaten a team this year that right now has a winning record.
Well, that's what we were saying earlier. That's what they want to feel. Like, they need to see something that gives you hope, right? It's like, we understand you can win the other ones, but it's like they want to, like the fans of the Cowboys, it's like we want to see one that was like, you know, and today felt like it should be that one, you know, coming into this. And that's why I think you're just going to get a little bit of a, you know, the players and coaches, they're going to put their head down and go to work, but you can't help sometimes to feel it when it's around you.
Josh Allen told us that he grew up watching these Thanksgiving Day games, dreaming of playing on Thanksgiving Day and walking off the field and somebody handing him a turkey leg.
That's what he said. Do you remember? He goes, you know, I dreamed as a kid of coming off that field and getting the award. Yeah. If we win the game and I'm lucky enough to get that, who's going to give me that award?
We might have a surprise.
And you told him, you said, well, I'm sorry, Josh.
We're working on it.
That award is gone for a while, but
no.
We will give you a thumbs up if you could see us from now. I mean, you told him we're going to have something for you. Is he going to get it?
I think there's a high probability.
I think he deserves it. Played outstanding today.
For a guy who is an ex-Cowboy, Wyoming Cowboy, comes into Dallas and presents his young team before the nation. Here's tonight on CBS. comedy, drama, all the trimmings, starting with young Sheldon, the unicorn, Mom and Carol's second act, followed by the critically acclaimed new series, Evil. You want to see that tonight, only CBS. Sean McDermott and the Bills go to 9-3. They're assured of a winning season. And they are right now looking forward to a month of December when they can make a statement. This young man did. Biggest win of his career, no doubt. Biggest stage he's ever played before, Josh Allen.
Exactly. Huge performance. You know how much this one meant to him. He was prepared.
NFL playoff picture looks like this. Again, the Bills, they came in with a 2-game lead in the wild card standings, and they're not out of the division yet either. They've got another matchup to go with New England. That one at New England on the 21st of December. Cowboys had a game lead on the Eagles, who were at 5-6. Folks, these Bills are for real. Found that out today. Buffalo wins at 26-15. For Tony, Tracy, and Gene Steratore, Jim Nance saying so long from Dallas. We'll take it back to New York after all the highlights, from today's game. Happy Thanksgiving, and thanks to all of our crew members here. God bless you all. Happy Thanksgiving.